Okay, my big muscular friend, I saw you the other night on Jimmy Kimmel, kind of making fun of me. Telling the whole world about how you tricked me into doing the worst movie ever made. Nah. Does it bother me? Nah. Is it burnt into my memory like a horrible scar? Nah. Well, maybe just a little bit. So anyway, as you know, I write, which is something you don't. Oh, did I say that? And I've decided to write a sequel called, for you, called Stop or Your Grandmother Will Beat Your Ass. And I will be directing and producing and mocking it all the way through. Anyway, you keep punching, big guy, and good luck with your film.
Hollywood is no stranger to controversy, but every once in a while, a story breaks through that feels bigger than the usual celebrity squabbles. Recently, Sylvester Stallone and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel became the center of a heated debate. That quickly spread beyond television, turning into a wider conversation about free speech, respect, and the direction of the entertainment industry. It all started on one of Jimmy Kimmel's shows. As he often does, Kimmel delivered a joke aimed at a big name in Hollywood, this time Stallone. The host made a sly remark about actors who believe they're larger than the film industry itself, quipping that maybe all those years of lifting weights made Stallone resistant to progress. It was clear who the punchline was about. To casual viewers, it may have seemed like harmless late-night humor, but Stallone's fans didn't take it lightly. The actor has been outspoken in recent years about how Hollywood is changing, particularly his frustration with how artistic expression often feels overshadowed by political correctness and trend-chasing. To his supporters, Kimmel's jab wasn't just a joke, it was a deliberate attempt to mock someone who dared to challenge Hollywood's norms. Within hours, social media erupted. Fans called the joke cheap and disrespectful. Others accused Kimmel of crossing a line, not because he poked fun at Stallone, but because he seemed to ridicule the very idea of questioning the industry. Critics argued that Kimmel, who often gives airtime to polarizing guests for the sake of ratings, appeared hypocritical for shutting down Stallone's perspective with a one-liner. What might have remained a throwaway moment quickly grew into something larger. Reports surfaced that Stallone had actually been blocked from appearing on Kimmel's show altogether. According to leaked production memos, Kimmel's team allegedly decided it would be too risky to invite Stallone as a
Washington defended his country. Without him, you can imagine what the world would look like. Guess what? We got the second George Washington. Congratulations!
I guess those punches Rocky took to the head were real after all. George Washington was the father of our country. Donald Trump is the father of Eric. Big difference there.
Guest, fearing he might use the platform to expand on his criticisms of Hollywood. Insiders claimed the concern wasn't about Stallone's popularity, he's a legend in his own right, but about the unpredictability of what he might say on live television. This revelation only fueled outrage. To many fans, it wasn't just a snub, it felt like censorship. People argued that Stallone, a man who had built an entire career on raw authenticity, deserved the chance to speak for himself. After decades of shaping Hollywood with films like Rocky and Rambo, the idea that he could be silenced by a late-night show didn't sit well with audiences. Some industry voices defended Kimmel's caution, but others questioned whether Hollywood was becoming too fragile to handle differing opinions. Eventually, Stallone addressed the situation directly. True to form, he didn't explode in anger or deliver a fiery rant. Instead, he responded with thoughtfulness and precision, offering comments in interviews and podcasts that resonated with fans. Hollywood has always been about pushing limits, he said in one conversation, but now it feels like the limits are shrinking. Art is being replaced by whatever's trending. If you don't follow the script, you're out. In another exchange, he tackled the culture of exclusion. When did it become acceptable to, silence people simply for thinking differently? That's not creativity, that's conformity. Stallone never mentioned Kimmel by name, but his words cut deep. He explained how people
Get
are
close. I will break your jaw. I mean, I'm just telling you right now. I don't want to hurt you. I like you. You're tall, good looking. But you're now.
Stop. Ow.
This is what it said to do.
Stallone quick to criticize those who speak their minds, yet unwilling to give them a platform to explain themselves. "That's not a conversation," he remarked. "That's a monologue." His calm but firm response hit home. Fans rallied around him, not just defending their favorite star, but also echoing his broader concerns about Hollywood. Online, clips of Stallone's greatest moments, triumphant scenes from Rocky and gritty action shots from Rambo, were shared as evidence of his legacy. One viral post summed up the mood. "Kimmel can make jokes all he wants, but Stallone is the one standing up for creativity. He built classics that defined Hollywood. He deserves more respect than this." Meanwhile, supporters of Kimmel tried to defend him, insisting the joke had been harmless and that Stallone's opinions were out of touch. But their arguments were drowned out by Stallone's fans, who viewed the entire incident as proof of double standards in the entertainment industry. The backlash grew so intense that some even called for boycotts of Kimmel's show, accusing him of running an echo chamber rather than hosting genuine conversations. The criticism wasn't just about Stallone anymore. It was about whether late-night television had become more about protecting images than fostering real dialogue. Sensing the damage, Kimmel's team reportedly scrambled behind the scenes to mend the situation. Insiders revealed that they made an extraordinary offer to Stallone: complete creative control over an appearance on the show. This meant Stallone could choose the topics, avoid sensitive questions, and even approve the final cut before it aired. For late-night TV, this level of control was unheard of, but Stallone wasn't interested. Through his representatives, he declined the invitation, making it clear he wasn't looking for a staged opportunity. "I don't need to script a conversation to get my point across," he reportedly said. "If we can't have a real dialogue, then what's the point?" Fans applauded his refusal, seeing it as further proof of his integrity. Stallone's decision reinforced his reputation as someone who values principles over publicity. Instead of accepting a polished platform, he chose honesty, even if it meant walking away. On the other hand, Kimmel's move backfired. Critics accused him of trying to use Stallone's name to boost his ratings while avoiding accountability for his earlier comments. To many observers, the incident highlighted a troubling trend in late-night television, one where optics and damage control seemed more important than authenticity. In the end, this was never just a spat between a movie star and a talk show host. It became a symbol of something bigger: the struggle between conformity and individuality in modern Hollywood. Stallone's voice reminded people that the industry was built on risk-takers, on those willing to challenge boundaries and tell stories. That didn't fit into neat categories. The feud may eventually fade, as Hollywood controversies always do, but its impact lingers. Stallone walked away with his reputation strengthened, celebrated as a figure who still speaks his mind even when it's unpopular. Kimmel, meanwhile, faced questions about whether late-night TV has lost its ability to host real conversations, without fear of controversy.
They don't even allow these today because they're so dangerous. But that's what they used when I did the film. I still have them because it's a time when people were tougher. Sorry, they were. When we force ourselves into tough situations, that's what the human creature is supposed to do. They're not supposed to have wheels on their suitcases. It's a convenience, no question, but it just makes things easier. Now with AI, you can literally put your brain in a pickle jar and have that machine do it. I cherish these moments. I cherish hard work. Even though I hate it, I know it's like strong medicine. It tastes horrible going down, but it makes you feel better.
For fans, the takeaway was simple. Hollywood isn't just about lights, cameras, and entertainment. It's also a battleground for ideas. And in this round, it seems Stallone reminded everyone why his voice still matters. Sylvester Stallone's bold response didn't just rattle Jimmy Kimmel, it shook the entire industry. What started as a late-night joke spiraled into a conversation, much bigger than either man. Fans, critics, and even other celebrities were suddenly asking the same question. Is Hollywood really open to different voices? Or is it stuck in a cycle of polished scripts and predictable stories? Late-night television, once the main stage for celebrities to share their thoughts, suddenly felt outdated. Kimmel wasn't the only one under the spotlight. Other hosts also faced growing criticism from fans who were tired of safe jokes, rehearsed anecdotes, and interviews that felt more like PR campaigns than real conversations. Viewers wanted something different. They wanted honesty, vulnerability, and genuine storytelling. And that's where podcasts started to shine. Unlike traditional talk shows, podcasts gave actors, musicians, and creators the chance to open up without being edited down to a 5-minute segment. Listeners loved hearing unfiltered, long-form discussions where celebrities could speak freely, laugh naturally, and even stumble over their words without fear of being cut. Stallone's podcast appearances during the feud proved this shift. Instead of a rehearsed interview on a shiny stage, fans got to hear him reflect on his career, share family stories, and express his frustrations with Hollywood in his own words. The contrast was striking. While late-night clips often felt shallow, Stallone's podcast conversations felt authentic, and fans were quick to point that out. The message was clear. Audiences were done with surface-level content. Hollywood insiders noticed this change too. Some even suggested that Stallone's standoff with Kimmel might go down as a turning point for the industry, a moment when audiences began demanding realness over presentation. For years, traditional shows had survived on carefully crafted jokes and celebrity appearances, but now, with fans craving unfiltered voices, the old model suddenly looked fragile. As the drama cooled, Stallone didn't just survive, he thrived. At the center of his comeback was The Family Stallone, his reality series that gave fans a rare look into his personal life. Instead of seeing him only as the tough guy from Rocky or Rambo, audiences got to witness Stallone as a father, husband, and mentor. They saw him laugh with his daughters, joke about everyday struggles, and reflect on decades in Hollywood. This side of Stallone was refreshing, and people loved it. Critics praised the show's authenticity, calling it a welcome break from the overly polished image Hollywood usually serves up. Viewers connected deeply with his vulnerability and humor, proving that even one of the biggest action stars of all time could win hearts by simply being himself. Social media amplified the love, with clips of Stallone's candid moments going viral. Fans shared quotes about life, funny family scenes, and reflections on aging, often tagging them with comments like, "This is the real deal. Hollywood needs more of this." Meanwhile, things weren't looking as bright for Kimmel. His ratings dipped, and the feud with Stallone only added to the challenges late-night television was already facing. Networks like ABC and Disney were reportedly frustrated as younger audiences continued tuning out traditional shows. Viewers weren't laughing at the same old scripted jokes anymore. They were spending their time on platforms that felt more interactive, more genuine, and less filtered. Other late-night hosts faced similar issues, but some managed to adapt by loosening up, experimenting with new formats, and inviting a broader mix of guests. Kimmel, on the other hand, stuck to his usual playbook: monologues, celebrity promotions, and safe conversations. In an era when fans demanded something deeper, his approach came across as out of touch. The Stallone-Kimmel drama became a symbol of this generational shift. Fans pointed out that big stars no longer relied on late-night TV to reach audiences. Many now preferred podcasts, YouTube channels, or independent media outlets where they could talk freely without the pressure of fitting into a scripted format. Take Matthew McConaughey, for example. His podcast appearances, where he dives into philosophy, life lessons, and his career, have earned him praise for being refreshingly real. Or Keanu Reeves, whose unguarded, thoughtful conversations online have only strengthened his image as one of Hollywood's most genuine figures. These examples showed that audiences weren't just looking for entertainment, they were looking for honesty. Stallone's clash with Kimmel only reinforced this growing trend. For Hollywood executives, this feud was a warning. It wasn't simply about two celebrities, but about the future of how stories are told and shared. The industry thrives on attention, and when fans shift their attention away from late-night shows and toward podcasts or streaming platforms, it forces everyone to reconsider what audiences really want. In the end, one thing was undeniable: Stallone came out stronger. His refusal to compromise on authenticity, combined with his ability to